Hello, welcome to the our accounting program, chapter number 8. Here today, we are going to discuss about the accounting equation. Accounting equation. So this will help you to understand how the balance sheet is prepared. Okay, accounts and balance sheet is prepared. From that, after learning this accounting equation, we can proceed to the exercises in we can prepare the exercises using this T accounts. Thereafter, we can go for this type of vertical presentation for the financial statement. So we can start with the accounting equation. Accounting equation, you know assets. What are the assets? And equity and liability. Earlier chapter we have given the definition for the assets, equity and liability. Always the assets are equal to equity and liability. Okay, total assets equal to equity and liability. It should be equal, right? There won't be any differences. In T format, when we are preparing the accounts also, if you are preparing the accounts in T format, okay, this is the balance sheet. Right here DR and here is CR. Okay, I'll show you how we work out in the T accounts. Okay, so total assets equal to equity and liability. Okay, further we can divide the assets into further two categories. That is, one is current asset, non-current assets. Okay, this is non-current assets and this is the current asset. Okay, it consists two categories. Okay, assets consist of two categories, that is non-current assets and current assets. Then only we will arrive at the assets, total assets. Here equity also capital or share capital plus undistributed profits. Okay, capital or share capital plus undistributed profits. Okay, this is the number one, two items, and this is the another item, undistributed profits. Okay, capital or share capital plus undistributed profits. Okay, that is the equity. Liability consists of two categories, that is non-current liability plus current liability. Non-current liability plus current liability, two factors, non-current liability and current liabilities. Okay, so we can say now you know the assets. What are the assets, what consists of assets, and what consists of equity, and what consists of liability, what is the categories it has. Okay, now we can see in detail what are the non-current assets and what are the non-current assets, what are the liabilities, what are the non-current liabilities. Like that we can see. This is the vertical format of presentation. of balance sheet. Okay, this is T format. Okay, now we are saying the non-current assets. Okay, non-current assets. This is current assets. Okay, this is equity and liability, right? This is non current liability. This is current liability. Loans. Bank loan means maybe long term. Okay, so this is the thing. In the non-current asset, we can see property, plant and equipment. Property, plant and equipment. Property means land, building, machineries and equipments, furniture and fittings. We can say so on and so forth. All consist here in one word: property, plant and equipment. Land, land, building. Okay, here we can say land, land, building, land, building, machinery, land, building, machinery, furniture and fitting. Furniture and fittings. Okay, fittings. All three consist of property, plant and equipment. You can understand at the beginning level we can say land and building, or land separately, building separately, machinery separately, furniture and fitting separately, and motor vehicle separately, and intangible assets, that is also intangible assets, that is we can say machinery. Investment property in the sense the investment made on treasury bills. Okay, investment made on in the any other companies. Okay, that is investment on properties. Okay, or some other properties. Yeah, we have purchased some other properties in the share, in the basis of share, etc and etc. So this is the total. Okay, this is our. Now the current assets is stocks. Stocks in the sense we have to say trading stock. Okay, trading stocks. We cannot say normally stock. No, flatly we cannot say stocks. We have to say trading stocks. Okay, trade debtors and other receivables. Trade debtors means if we have supplied if we have made any sales on credit basis, the people who owe money to us based on the credit sales are called as trade debtors. Okay, trade debtors. The trade debtors arise on credit sales. Credit sales, when we make the credit sales, to whom we are making trade credit sales are all those individuals coming under the trade debtors. And other thing is other receivables. Other receivables means for an example, uh, we have given out staff advances. For the staff, we would have given advance, salary advances, or short-term loans, or small payments. Those coming under the other receivables. Prepaid expenses. Prepaid expenses. Later on, I will explain what is the prepaid expenses. No, now I will give a normal explanation. If we have paid any expenses in advance, okay, any expenses paid in advance, that is called prepaid expenses. For an example, if you say phone bill, now the month is January, in the sense, now we can say, for an example, January, okay, January month. Now we are in the January month, we are paying the telephone bill for the January and February, March also, February and March also. For both these things, it is better to say rent, right? Not the uh, telephone expenses, because we cannot assume, or we cannot evaluate how much the telephone expenses. But the rent is always flat amount, right? We have paid rent for January and February, March also, but we are in the January. We are preparing the accounts for the January. Then the amount paid for February and March will be treated as a prepaid expenses. Okay, this is called prepaid expenses. So that will be treated as a current asset in our set of accounts. Other thing is, second one is cash and bank. Cash and bank, that is also current assets, because the whatever the property, we can cash it within 1 year, within 12 months period, will fall under the current assets. Others will fall under the non-current assets. Okay, cash and bank, you can withdraw it, no? If it is in the savings account, you can withdraw it within anytime, you can withdraw, if it is savings account. If it is the fixed account, for 5 years fixed account, if you have put the cash on bank, then it is not a current asset, it is the non-current assets. 5 year deposit, term deposits. Okay, current asset. So that is, another one is petty cash. Petty cash also, petty cash balance also will come here, current assets. Then if we add up this total is non-current assets, value of the non-current assets. This total is value of the current assets. Okay, this is non-current assets, total non-current assets. This is total current assets. If you add back these both, then this is the total assets. Total assets. Okay, the total assets should be equal to total equity and liability. Okay, now we know what is the non-current assets, what is the current assets, and hereafter it will be easy for you to identify current assets and non-current assets, or assets, in any transaction. Next one is equity and capital. Equity and capital. Okay, capital. And from the capital to the capital, we will add the net profit, because undistributed profit, that's what I have mentioned here, undistributed profits. Undistributed profits. So here we will add the net profit. Okay, okay, net profit. And we have to deduct drawings. Okay, drawings. Deducting means you have to show it in the bracket. We cannot say minus and put it here. We have to show it in the brackets. Drawings. Then it will come the equity, total equity, right? Total equity. Next, we can move to the non-current liabilities. Non-current liabilities, this in the sense bank loan, long-term bank loans are coming under the non-current liabilities, right? Next one, current liability. Current liabilities, under the current liability, trade creditors coming. Trade creditors are coming under the current liabilities. Trade creditors. Who are the trade creditors? Trade creditors arises when we do purchase. If you are purchasing from outside for the, if you say for the trading purposes, the goods, trading stocks we are purchasing from the outside, then if you are purchasing that trading stocks on credit basis, then we owe money to outsider supply, the person who sells to us called supplier, right? His name is supplier, right? Supplier, right? Supplier, he supply goods for us, he supply goods, right? For resale, for resale, right? If we give it on credit, then we call him as creditor. Okay, trade creditor. Trade creditor. For the trading purposes, he is giving us the goods on credit basis. So we call him as a trade creditors. Other payables means we can say what do you call this, salary payable. Okay, other payables means salary payable, overtime payables. Okay, other payable, those are coming under the other payable. Salary payable, salary, overtime, EPF, ETF payable, tax, like that. Okay, accrued expenses, we can say that also. Accrued expenses which are not paid during the year. Telephone bill, electricity bill, right? If you say for we are in January month, okay, we are in January month, we have not paid January month's electricity bill, water bill, telephone bill, we have not paid yet. Then we used to say those expenses accrued expenses because we are preparing for the January month. Okay, if we have not paid the expenses for the relevant period, then that is called accrued expenses. If we have paid the expenses apart from relevant future period, not the for the relevant period, for the future period, then that is called as a prepaid. Okay, so you would have understood accrued expenses also. Later on we can say there is a separate explanation will be given later on. And next current liability is short term loans are payable. Short term loans, I mean, if you have received any loans short for the period of lesser than 12 months to be repaid, personal loans from the your friends or anything, then that called short term loans payable, that is here. Or overdraft, bank overdraft, also short term loan. Other provisions, if you say, if you are thinking that there will be a what you call that, you are expecting some losses or anything, then you can make provisions for that. Provisions will be here. Other thing is tax payable. At the end of the year, when you are making the calculations, you may arrive at paid tax and payable tax. In that case, payable tax will be treated under the current liabilities. Here it will come total equity and liability. This is total equity and liability. Here equity total is here, non-current assets total is there, current assets total is there. If you add those three, total equity and liability total, you will arrive here. Okay, this total equity liability should tally with the total assets. That is the equation we have put here. Total assets equal to equity plus liability. Assets equal to equity plus liability. That is the equation we have given here. Okay, understood? Then now we can see how do we present this balance sheet in T accounts. Okay, this is the T account. Okay, here we will say non-current liabilities. Non-current liability. And current liability there will be so many expenses here, then total is there. Here is total is here, non-current liabilities. And next is equity. I am putting here very shortly because I have elaborated what are the non-current assets, current assets, okay, non-current liabilities and current liabilities. And here we will say equity. Okay, equity. Then here you will arrive at the total. This is debit side. But here we don't say debit and credit. Normally you say non-current liabilities, current liabilities. Here we will say non-current assets. Okay, tuck 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 and total non-current assets. Okay, current assets. Tuck 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 total current assets. Okay, these total should tally. Okay, non-current assets here detail we have given non but are non-current assets. Under the headings we have to mention this. So this total should tally with this total. Okay, this should tally with the this one balance sheet. Okay, this is the T form presentation. Okay, this is the vertical presentation of the balance sheet. So I hope you would have understand this. You would have understood this my explanation. If you have any sort of queries questions, you can contact me through my email and get the answers. Okay, thank you for joining with me. Thank you very much. We'll see in next chapter.